would have enjoyed the discussion. And when we mean that, there are some comrades, when you corner them with facts, them will shy away from the delusion and say, okay, there's certain facts that we cannot deny. But I am sorry for one thing that Wayne didn't let me back up so I could correct this fact. You Richards like to talk about the NIR did empty in a 1980. But let me give you no NIR history. Michael Manley emptied the NIR from 1974. Let me repeat that again. Then keep trying to mention that we get it empty. Michael Manley took government in 1972 with an NIR for $146 million. 2 years later, $146 million turned minus $600 million. So you like to talk about, it don't find at the 80s. No, it was from the 70s, you. It was from the 70s that the NIR went under and we are just recovering. We just recover. When the PMP did borrow some money, and me tell one gentleman yesterday, say them borrow from Peter and Paul. I know him do research. He can't find nothing yet to come back.
He might look for Peter.
He might look for Peter to find out too much them to lend him to Paul. Right? When I tell them that, say when even in the 90s, when they tell us the NIR have must say $1 billion in there, that was borrowed money. The $5 billion in our NIR today is taxpayers' money doing what it is supposed to do. So there can never be any comparison between the stewardship of the Jamaica Labour Party and the stewardship of the People's National Party. Absolutely no comparison.
So I want to interject a bit there. And some people don't understand the implications of having an NIR and what it does for us. An NIR is not something to spend. An NIR is what the dollar is anchored against. Just like when in the US dollar is supposed to be anchored against gold deposits. That's what supposed to maintain the stability of your dollar, the strength of your dollar. The NIR is not just money there to be thrown about like let me see if we can spend it like that.
To put in the budget for people feel good.
Thank you. It is there to anchor our dollar. And when people don't understand that about economics, your currency needs to be anchored against something. Otherwise it's going to fly away like the butterflies.
As it did.
Like gold. We don't have gold. So
right. So that is like our gold.
We don't have oil. We don't have gas.
What are you doing, my dear? What was that? Listen, I want you to do a research for me.
Yes.
Because me like to deal with the periods of governance, you know. Because governance must never be viewed in isolation of its entirety. So I like to look at the periods of governance. If you go back to 1962 till 2024, and you check the various periods that the JLP rule, the PNP rule, look at the movement of the Jamaican dollar, right? Look at the movement of the Jamaican dollar. Let's look at the devaluation of the Jamaican dollar. And just like how we can get the PNP to admit that crime, murders and crime, they have no authority to speak on that because they would have moved it from 434 to 1588. Can we look at the Jamaican dollar in the same context and show that the highest movement of the Jamaican dollar occurred under the People's National Party? There has never been any other movement of the Jamaican dollar that is higher than when it moved under the PNP. So, when you can find it, it's not hard to find. Between 1989 and 2007, the dollar was at $5.50 under the JLP when Eddie Seaga left. In 2007, when the PNP demit office after 18 and a half consecutive years, what was the rate of exchange? What was the rate of exchange? Simple Google search. Simple Google search. What was the rate of exchange in 1989? What was the rate of exchange in 2007? And that will answer the problem. Make us do it. And then you can also look at the period between 2012, 2016, and 2016 to 2024. It's not hard to measure who is better for Jamaica. It is easy. And history must be our guide. Because if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat.
Right, doomed to repeat it, the man say.
That's doomed to repeat the madness. Okay? So simple, because we don't argue on nothing other than facts over here. So for all of those who were over there a while ago, you can send back the invitation to them, but they come to school. Because this is college for them. This is higher learning. The Institute of Higher Political Learning. Yeah,
Chaps, them gone over reading now, Gambo, so them beat up some labor right a while ago.
Where? With half my brains. With half my brains.
What
Tied behind my back. Just to make the competition fair. Not a single labor right, or if they come in groups, could beat me. With half my brains strapped behind my back, them can't beat me.
What happened just now, Chuck?
Eh?
What happened?
I don't know you missed such a lively discussion a while ago, Philippians.
I missed it too. I wasn't there.
One comrade in the chat said Chops when JLP left office in 1989, he left unregulated
Illegal banking sector.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Ibi, but let me ask you this then, Ibi.
Deregulation, privatization,
That's the question
and
now.
liberalization.
If that was the case, then Ibi, then why would man pursue deregulation as one time pillar where man move forward on? Uno say, uno question can be simply proven.
It no sense.
If that was the case, if there was no regulation, why would Manley stand in the parliament in 1991? What is that, chaps? Tell us again.
Jamaica will move forward on 3 pillars: privatization, deregulation, and liberalization.
Right. We have the clip. We can get the clip. We need to get them clip there now.
It's a matter, and it's a matter of principle.
Is that matter of principle?
I don't care. I don't hear it. It's a matter of principle.
But chaps, remember when Siaga warned him against the liberalization, he said on top and advice that liberalization is a must.
Right.
Oh, and those were instructions coming from the IMF
At the time. Because remember, I think it's Michael Manley who was clad in a bush jacket.
Yes.
Who gave the middle finger to the United States.
You know, Eddie's talking a bunch of shit in the comments.
You can mute Eddie if you want.
Okay, because
I'm looking at that chair.
him can't come in the box, but me him don't want him and not in the comment section.
I'm looking at that table here that takes it from 1969 to present.
Thank you, sir. Wait, sir.
All right, going back as far as 1969, right up to, let me know a second here, right? From 1969 up to 1971, it was $1.20. $1.20 Jamaican to $1 US.
From 1969 to 71, right?
Yes. In 1972, so it's gonna be it's going down. It's devaluing. Hold on. In 1972, it would be at 77 cents.
Right. Because
Right,
you had economic growth. You had economic growth between 67 and 72.
Okay.
The JP.
1973, it went to 90 cents. In 1974, it went up by 1 cent to 99.91, and that 91 was maintained up until 1977. Then it went to 1.41.
Yes.
then 176 by 79 by 1980. It was $1.78.
All
That
right.
178 was maintained for 3 years until 1983. It went to 192.
Uh-huh.
Significantly jumped to 1984 to 394. And by the end of 1989, it would have gone to $5.77.
All right.
By 1990 now,
Yes,
it jumped that in.
no.
Hello?
Yeah,
So,
no.
All right. So,
Go ahead, man. Clean green.
yes. So by 1990, it was $7.24. Then all of a sudden, it jumped to $12.22 and steadily rise by the next year, $22.63. Then $24.92. Then $33.29.
Hallelujah.
And I'm going right up to year 2002,
Seven.
2007, $69.04. So between
From $5.50.
1989, when it was $5.77, up to 2007, it was at $69.04. So here comes 2008. Now it was at $72.92, and we're going to close out that period at 2012, right? It devalued to a level of $88.80 by 2012.
Okay.
So, right. So 2013 is when we went over 100 to 1.
Hallelujah again.
2013 it moved from $100.89. Up by 2016 it was at $125.14.
And wait there now.
Right now it is at $154.24.
So if we were to do, so we're going to do an analysis now. We need to put it in a spreadsheet, in an Excel spreadsheet, and look at the percentage movement each year.
Yes.
To give it, where you get that? Come in if it,
I just googled and I took one of the second. The first one wasn't giving me the second thing that came up on Google. I just opened it and I saw it like a table.
If we put that down into an Excel spreadsheet and do a proper analysis of it, and we can label the different periods
Yes.
as PNP, GLP, we will have a better understanding that the highest movement of the Jamaican dollar happened under the People's National Party. And there's no question, there's no debate, there's no argument, because that is undisputed facts.
But chaps, is the same thing with the murder rate. It's facts is written down every day, but you still have half the comrade come out here and talk foolishness. Right? These people, the idea, you know, that you're entitled to opinion, you know, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Right? You can be entitled to an opinion. It's your all right to have your opinion, and no one can take your opinion from you. But facts are the facts, and those cannot be changed. Right? And the fact is, every single time the PNP preside over this country, Jamaica is worse off for having it. They can never not show me one period in which they presided over the country and the country is better off. It is not something where people make up. Right? It is written in black and white. As me say, the downfall of Jamaica started in 1972 when Michael Manley came into power. All of the indicators can show that it's not something we are make up. Right? But most of the comrades then we tell you say, let me forget the past. Well, and the same people who preside over it is now over there champion in the cars. It's the same method them I use. Where them I tell you, say, we don't really have no plans, you know. But time come. When we go in, we'll figure it out. Yeah, man. Just elect us. There's a picture going around, if you all see it, with the wolf preaching to the sheep and saying, as soon as you know elect me on a leader, I will become a vegetarian. The PMP say, as soon as you know elect me government, I will become an economist. I will become a crime fighter. I will become an educator. But we don't have to do that now. We don't have to tell them our plans now. Right? And it is sad. It is sad to see the opposition leader went on the international stage and was asked, what are your plans for Jamaica should you win government? And the man literally said, me can't tell you no. A chance for you to show off, to speak, to tell the world, not just Jamaica, tell the world what you have planned. You are unable to speak it on the international stage because the fact is you have no plans. You have never had a plan, and that is why you are not campaigning on what you will do. Your campaign is look at what the other man is doing. Your campaign is, no matter who you vote for, we are the same. Well, I am here to say it again. Both parties have never been, are not now, and will never be the same. You have one party that cares about Jamaica, that cares about Jamaica and want to make Jamaica better. And once Jamaica is better, Jamaicans will be better too. You have a party that cares about a few. Hugh Richards a while ago just said, him a go make him party must make dance. District constables. Now, I don't know how much of you listen to me.
I hope somebody recorded that.
I don't know how much of you listen to me grow up in a garrison. I did. And we know the reach and brutality of dance. We know of the dance them that when you look at daughter reach 16-year-old and send for them and you can't do nothing about it. Hugh Richards said under his PMP administration, those people will not only have the right, but they will be given additional power to the state. Those were your words. Those were your words. You wasn't those your words, sir? That you will make the dance DC. Isn't that what
Views, not the views of the PNP, he said.
No, that is no, I said in his version.
No, he was representing the PNP at the time.
I did use the word in his version.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I don't want anybody.
In his version of the PMP, those people will be given powers at the state. Now, this was tried before. And I thank you, Tulin. This was tried before, you know. It was called the Brigadista program. The Brigadista program where you send the same people to Cuba and you train them in the art of bank robbery, firearm technology,
hijacking.
Yes, hijacking.
Release of prisoners from jail.
Release of prisoners.
How to break down a gun from start to finish and put it back together.
In 1.5 minutes.
Yes, how to spread propaganda throughout the community, how to suppress opposition views. 16 Jamaicans.
Yes, those men who came back and placed in the community as dance. But chaps, one point I didn't get to make. Because as somebody was saying, and I agree with them, both parties has been affiliated with dancing in the past. That is fact. I will not deny fact. The difference is, and this is undeniable, that when the time comes for justice, The People's National Party will pack up them done and ship them off to Cuba to avoid justice. That is how them do it. When justice are come, them pick them up and then tell them go Cuba go hide them. And then they return them to Jamaica as heroes later on. Dodos is sitting in a US prison today. Yeah? Dodos, Jim Brown, now none of the Jamaica Labour Party dance never entered the floor, the stage of a Jamaica Labour Party conference. I do not recall any of the party leader or anybody ever bigging up any dance from the platform of the Jamaica Labour Party. So why people of questionable characters may be associated with both parties, only one party hug them up. Only one party hug them up. Right? So I said it again, and I said it before, and I will say it again. We are not the same. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them try to tell you, say, no matter who you vote for, you can't give me a chance, you know. I told you I'm going to do the same thing. No. The People's National Party, in no era that they have ever governed, ever buy 1,430 vehicles for the JCF. They have never ever buy 1,170 bucks for the JUTC. They have never repaired over 160 police stations. They have never constructed a single hospital under them reign in government. We are not the same. Don't make them fool, you know. Don't make them fool, you know. And boy, Caps, I don't know if you did hear that one yesterday, but I'm going to tell you. A gentleman came on yesterday. He said, come to challenge me. He said, me tell lie. Say PMP never do nothing for Jamaica. And when I'm achievement, he said PMP pay off IMF. Me say, how them do that? He said, then grow the economy. I say, what was the level of economic growth during that time? He said, no, after them, I go do some research and come back. He come back 5 minutes later and said, the 15 minutes when me give him, never enough to do the research. He might go take him a couple of weeks. But my guess, chaps, is that the man went and do some research and never like what he find. So he never want to come back to the conversation. But that is not the part where take the cake. It's when him tell we say, the position when Nigel Clark get, and none knew. Because Omar Davis was offered the same position and refused.
Like myself.
Listen to me, man. That is way past that.
All right. The fact that he said that and it's not true, you can just tell that the PMP is just good at spreading lies and propaganda. Yeah, maybe Omar had gotten a offer, but was only to flush the toilet and plunge it. That's all.
The only meeting Omar have with
Because
the
he
IMF
has
was the matter of money.
no. The IMF wouldn't want him. If
Right.
if they did not want, if the civil society did not want him back as finance minister when Portia win, you think the IMF would have wanted him?
Even that. Right. IMF is there. The IMF was interested in Omar. Omar turned it down. Right? A bigger load of crap has never been spoken.
They just
Right.
want to take away from the Jamaica Labour Party and even
That-
the country, Jamaica, because Nigel going to the IMF is something to feel proud about, but they want to politicize it. Right?
Well, when you don't have nothing in you, you have to grab at anything that come your way, you know. But well, let me see. Pastor Moody.
The one is Peter Phillips got an offer.
Yes, and
Peter
offer to
Phillips
plus
never
style it.
get no offer. And
Really?
he wasn't even talking about Peter Phillips. He said Omar Davis. He said the whole I know. You
Peter
sound
Peter
like
Phillips get offer.
this man.
Real quick, one quick question. One quick question, real quick. I won't be long. So IMF, it was Omar Davis when he was finance minister. If Omar Davis was that good, how come after representational politics he never did any? Where's the big job?
Where's the big job?
Where did all that brains go? What happened? After being finance minister, how you never do anything after that? If you're that good, you're that brilliant, and the IMF wanted you while you were in office, boom, your party lose and you're no longer in office. Why not take the job?
I'm going to Ralston and defend him.
May I beg an answer for that question, Chuck? I pray.
When that gentleman come back for the debate next week, chaps.
Eh?
When that gentleman come back for the debate next week, I will ask him.
I
We
want
have
to know.
somebody in the comments, maybe you can ask him his name. Them name. Because them had dull skull, them NTB.
Well, yeah.
Politics Media TV. Him say
Politics Media TV.
him
Listen.
change it from Omar and him say Peter Phillips refused the offer.
And
Listen,
Peter Phillips has been out of government from when? From what? 2016?
Oh, Peter Phillips?
Yeah, remember say them lose power from him time there. Why did he not take this position?
Right.
yes,
They-
I'm
they're
expecting
ridiculous.
Gerald to come back anytime and he will answer this question.
No, that one
Winston,
ain't
just of
coming.
yourself.
I'm going to mute him right now.
all
Him
this
can't
time,
come up,
all these
him
years,
stay down
why
there.
never take these offices? Because one thing's for certain, this IMF job or these IMF offices pay way more than what MP is getting and what even a minister of government is getting.
Nigel salary equate to about 70 million US a year. 70 million Jamaica a year.
And Peter Phillips did that check how much
They were clamoring about
$100 and have to do it like a 500 times.
You be right when him that try explaining tax package.
The IMF couldn't hire somebody like that.
He couldn't explain the numbers behind the tax at ATM when you withdraw your own money, which was already taxed. He couldn't explain the tax
And
rate,
IMF wanted him.
and the IMF wanted him.
That's somebody me run back and tell him about the $100 and $10 or something. I think can't
You
get
need to decide if Omar or Peter them are used. Them have to go fix up their life.
His own policy position, he couldn't explain it.
You see, Philippians, the idea is just to say we did have somebody where the IMF want to, but them don't know who to put it on. Them could have said Mark too, but we all know said the IMF don't like criminals.
Right.
Them could have said Mark too. So they want the idea is that that we can't give away this win. And that is why, as the leader of opposition, and the final day of the finance minister who is going off on an international assignment, you chose to be absent from the parliament because he is a coward.
So Chuck,
Right? And I've said this before and I will say it again. Mark Golden have a level of disdain for Jamaicans. He not like we. So the fact say the little black boy get the offer where things should have been for him. He not like it. And then now, for some reason, he convinced other black people to go up on social media and tear it down.
Chuck,
Stop
one
posting-
question.
Go on,
Chuck.
excellent.
How is it every Jamaican know about Nigel deal, but it's only PNP know about Peter Phillips and Omar deal?
Them offer. Good question. Very good question. Right. But as we know them offer the no real. I just something them a try to grab at star. But let me hear from Jamaica.
Just lying. They're just lying. Like they've been lying about everything else. They're a propaganda party.
Well, I'm here from Jamaica.
The one year I asked question. I invite him to the box. I don't know if him question genuine or what.
Listen to me.
Don't rush it.
May I invite somebody up in the box?
But I'm here from Jamaica 876 in the meantime.
It's beyond me, you see.
And my answer is yes. The Prime Minister have 28 accord. Yes. In fact, I believe it's 29 and one more this morning. I'm continuing 87.
Yeah, I say it's beyond me to see the facts laid out on the paper and the PMP see it and I see a lie. It puzzles me at all times. The facts is there on the paper, right in front of the eye, and the man them are denied and I see a lie. Just because of politics, and they want to tear down the country for their own gain.
You see, the issue with them, is that not one of them, but you see on social media here, none of them, not one of them, ever take the time to read one single page of that report. None of them.
To them denials for just cause
None of them.
confusion.
It's a topic, and say when I go up on social media, I don't use them word there. Now, that is the problem in Jamaica. They don't read it. So them don't know what is on it. Right? So most of them, when them come here, they are truly ignorant of the facts. They are truly ignorant. And not only are they ignorant of it, they're also allergic to it. So they will not go anywhere that they can get true facts to go by. The list of talking points where them get, and that alone them want, and they don't want nothing else.
So,
One box comrade, No
problem. Any comrade really can get one.
Yeah.
But where's the gentleman that was asking about the account? I said, yes, what is the next question? When them gone?
Me no know. Me want to ask him, what is your next question?
The answer is true. The Prime Minister had 28 accounts. That is true. What is the next question?
He opened one this morning. Remember?
He was 29, yes, he opened one this morning.
I want this evening where you talk
One this evening, so he gone 30 now.
Me want to know if it's illegal. And I mean, I always say this, in a COVID time, you have people who didn't have one bank account. And the fact that if somebody even have 28, what makes that illegal? The white man a trick, The white man wants to know dead poor, born poor, and dead poor.
Must have been inheritance.
How did this become a trending topic? Like,
ask
I want to ask what's next still, What I really want.
ridiculous and full and dark.
From house to bank account, so that means I get black man not have anything,
Not have anything.
Why else you have a problem with?
In class.
Shoes.
Now, if you have shoes, if you have house, and if you have bank account.
All about time going start just better mark now.
Yes.
Woman them love him off. You don't notice woman them love off Andrew?
What is the name of the guy that was asking about the account? When there?
He named some let me see. Let me search.
Wow.
The answer is yes, he did
He
have
named
So, with that brother.
Anthony are the last name. Anthony.
And the man tell me the same thing about the account. And I say, where you get the thing from? The man said, let's see it in the Gleaner.
I'm seeing the Gleaner.
I say, read the report. I said, no. Let me read that.
99% of the time when you ask any comrade about reading the report, the answer will always be no.
No report in the read. That's the thing. Me a chaps asks you Blair. If him read the transcript, he might say somebody.
He read majority.
Yeah, majority. Chap say how much page is there? Him don't know. What the shit you have to read majority? I said no, you don't know how much page. These people stick.
Oh, what's this?
Chaps, mute your mic. People are going to hear your business.
Don't worry yourself, I do it for him. I can mute it for him.
Eh.
When you're ready again, Chaps.
I don't know who that's in the background.
Remember, Chaps.
Can I have an input?
Go ahead, Mr. Dawkins.
Yeah, good afternoon to you all.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome again.
Yes, sir.
Well, the man said read the report, but in no much stage.
I want to
The man
make
tell
a few
you.
points.
The man tell you. Say read the report.
Read my
It's
report.
Over the years,
Hold on, there
there is a perception in Jamaica
It was
society.
interesting
that,
though to have that discussion. Where's you, Blair? We're not giving you a box.
Hold on there, Mr. Winston.
Hold on,
No,
Chaps.
man, hold on the chat. Look at Mr. Dawkins. Hold on the chat, bro.
Hold on, let us shot me tag the person. The person is tag. Me hit my right, here he is.
Alright, the king come, man.
Me
Come, Mr.
tag the
Dawkins,
name, but he
continue,
not
continue.
open at the box.
Okay, I'm saying that over the years, there is a perception in the Jamaica society that the PNP
Have a good
attract
discussion
the
about that.
educated class.
Mm-hmm.
But you realize that the PNP party operate like a cult. Seriously, they operate like a cult. Even although people who are educated and people of intelligence are among them, they just follow one narrative that the PNP hierarchy
Yeah.
put up.
I like the window.
And it let them sound so stupid and foolish. Because first thing that is on the report from the IC, not to be prosecuted. And if a report said not to be prosecuted, that means that there's no crime commit. No crime commit, remember, you know. And Peter Phillips' son report said he must be charged.
Right.
He
But-
must be
but
charged.
Winston.
Michael Phillips report said he must be charged.
But
And the
Winston,
Prime Minister
since this whole thing started, you know, 2 members of the People's National Party has been recommended for charge, you know.
Yeah, Emmanuel Vaz.
Alright. Who are them?
Yeah. And the PNP are not talking about that, right? And on the Prime Minister report, it is categorically clear not to be charged. Anyhow, put that aside. Another thing I want to say is that over the years, I'm a little boy growing up in Jamaica. The PNP always put out this narrative in this country like the IMF is some wicked colonial evil institution. Right? And Nigel Clark and the Prime Minister have shown to the Jamaican people and to the world at large that your country can take structural reform under the guidance of the IMF and come out victorious. Because we, for the first time, yeah?
Winston, the Jamaica Labour Party has always had leaders that stand up to the IMF.
I know.
And say, we are doing things our way.
But I'm saying that the PNP always put out that narrative. Like the IMF is so brutal and against black people. I hear the country at all that go through an IMF
Agreement.
Winston? Winston, but I agree with Winston. That is the narrative for them put out.
and the PNP. Let's put PNP and JLP aside. Let us talk about Jamaica. At the end of the day, it is a country that is reaping the benefit. The hospital that is building in Spanish Town now, the brand new spanking 8th floor Spanish Town Hospital. This can only happen because of what Nigel and the Prime Minister were able to do by paying down the debt and balance the book. Right? The money that he's spending on the hospital in Manteca Bay, over $1 billion. All of these things happen. The 40 billion that put aside for the road program work. All of these funds come about because the economy has become healthy. even although we are not having robust growth, and it is not the fault of the government why Jamaica is not having robust growth. The problem is why Jamaica, even this morning, I hear Mr. Sierra come out and talk about Flavor Williams to go for growth. It is the private sector that drive growth in our country, you know, because we have a market economy.
Thank you.
Jamaica operates off a market economy. It is the private sector who have access to capital to expand their business and start new business to create job creation and grow the economy. It is not the government. There is nothing more that this government can do to spur growth.
The government space for investment.
The government have a macro economy, and this is what the private sector has been calling for years. To have a stable macroeconomic outlook. We have a stable macroeconomic outlook, right? The government is spending billions of dollars at the capital budget. Billions! So why is it that the private sector now won't chip in and do their part? We have a relatively stable foreign exchange. We have a record amount of foreign exchange in the central bank. And all of these things. So interest rate is at minimal. So why is it that the private sector is not coming on board now to make the Jamaica economy grow? Why? What more can the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister do? The government insensitize the economy in many ways. We have the tax give back. We have the expansion of the threshold. Right? The government carry down the interest rate. Right? The government is opening up arts so young people can go skill train themselves to get adequate employment, and you know have to come and look minimum wages job. So what more can the government do?
You see, Winston, the PMP.
I am a product of art. I am a product of art. Trust, right? I'm a certified builder by Art Trust, and art has enabled me not to be a minimum earner. I'm a builder by profession now. I get my own contract and build my own houses, right? So when you go art and you learn a skill and get certified and master your skill, you will no longer become the minimum wages earner. You're gone in the middle of the high income.
Winston,
so what is this art for the Jamaican people to conceptualize this idea?
Winston, because we have an opposition party that has planted it in the heads of their supporters that working for what you want is a waste of time.
This is the problem that I'm having.
They have planted it in their head. So if your neighbor have 2 TV, you can just go take one. That if your neighbor go to heart, you Winston will go to heart and learn your skill and do your trade. You and him must get the same money. That's the problem we having. If you're a carpenter and you employ a little youth and say, I trade him, he believes that when you sell one dresser, him forget half of the money. That's how them plant in the people in head. And this government is having a carried off a time to reprogram the minds of these people to say, work for what you want. Stop sit down and blame the system. Stop sit down and blame the man. Look for the opportunities then that are being created. Somebody tell me why. Why is it that in a Jamaica today, Heart Trust NTA not have to put chair on the outside of them building? Tell me why Heart not turn the people and say, boy, we full, we can't take no more. Tell me why Heart not have to rent out them nearby yard and say we need more space because too much people are come. Because of the PMPism, when them believe say, opportunity of foolishness. Just give me a brown envelope for me good. That's the mindset.
So there's a question by Angel. She's asking Chop, can you explain what Boo cloth fabric thief was talking about when he said the banks from the 80s.
What do you call fabric?
Oh, there's a man chap. I admit he used to work at Free Zone and in thief some fabric.
Oh,
Me not remember his name.
okay.
He said he used to work at Free Zone in the 80s and if you survive, you have to thief the people in fabric.
I want a chopper friend. I want a chopper
That
I
friend.
want to tell my friend, me not remember his
That
name.
is
I want a chopper
government.
PMP friend.
His name
That
start with
is
you.
government.
Are you the name start with?
Yeah, but you don't have to go no further. Chopper thiefing name PMP.
But when they're talking about the banks in the 90s, oh yeah, then they're talking about the banks.
So I'm sorry, I don't want to stay on here. So it was enough for me to type. But good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Chopper,
afternoon.
what I heard was you, Richards, was saying that the banks from the 80s are the one that started this. That's what I was hearing. You saying that, yes, he admit that it dropped the bottom of the mug or the bottom of the whatever dropped out underneath the PMP. However, he's saying that the banks of the 80s are the one that started the policy that created this. And so I'm confused, and that's why I'm asking you to kind of explain, because over there, it wasn't a conversation. It was a man named George just screaming and talking a whole bunch of crap, and I couldn't really get a clear understanding.
With Jordan or Jodine?
I don't even know what his name was. What was it, Jadine or Jordan?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Jordan or somebody. Jordan never had much sense.
Right, so him alone get me. I was so irritated that I really couldn't even focus to even listen. But then again, there was no information, and I couldn't get anything out of you either, Chopper, because you know you were doing the right thing by pausing and telling this Jordan to continue. But at the same time, the thing wasn't explained out, and I didn't really get anything from it. I know me come to learn. So can you explain what he's talking about? Because I don't really understand what he's talking about.
He's been a classic PNP. When you point out any problem, PNP try to point out that the two political parties are the same. So that argument was an attempt to say that what happened in the 1990s started from in the 80s. And if we are to do that, then we can say it starts from the 70s. And the 70s can say it starts from the 60s. But the fundamental point I was making in the discussion was that the policy that caused FinSAC started under the PNP under Dr. Omar Davis. And the point I was making also is that it was not just a broad policy. It was a policy that was targeted, that was very much tailored to attack only the local banking institutions, which were primarily owned by bankers who were supporters of the Jamaica Labour Party. And we got them to admit that. So that it started in the 1980s is a nonsense argument. It is a policy shift of the government under Michael Manley, which carried over into PJ Patterson that caused the problem. A government policy shift, which is deregulation, privatization, and liberalization. The one policy that was responsible for the collapse of the financial sector was the liberalization of the Jamaican dollar without adequate net international reserve. Period, point blank. That is it. What caused FinSAC was Dr. Omar Davis and the PNP pursuing a liberalized financial sector without having adequate net international reserve to cushion the shock from such a policy. That is it.
Another example of the PMP winging it.
Hello, guys. Hello. We must point out in more details when you talk about the banks. The banks get their money to borrow from the Bank of Jamaica. Okay? And the policy of the Bank of Jamaica was controlled by the government of the day. When the Bank of Jamaica lent money to the banks at high interest rate, the banks in turn got to raise their interest rate. So that's why when local people go borrow from the bank and the bank are charge them 50%, they had no choice. Because
Churchill, the persons did not borrow any loan at 50%. And that is what the PMP them are trying to tell people. No one borrow a loan at 20%. People borrow loan of between what? It was between 15, 10 and them percentage there. But overnight, yes, but overnight, those interest rate would have shot up to as high as 100%.
yeah, but that comes from the Bank of Jamaica. That's the whole point.
Yes, because of the policy of the government.
Yes. So if you wanted to borrow money from the bank at that time, you would have to pay high interest rate. That's why business couldn't borrow any more money, because the interest rate was too high to borrow money anyway. Right?
Oh, chaps, Churchill and chaps, there is another policy shift that Omar Davis took in. And this was post-FinSac that had an equally devastating effect on Jamaica. You know? And that was when he started to encourage business and business people to no longer invest in Jamaica, but to come and buy government papers. And we will go now, it's 50, 60, and 70% per a year time pound of money. You know? That is when investment in Jamaica dry up.
Yeah, because if you carry your money go put on in a bank and expect to get 40 and 50%, then what it does is crowd out the money that people would want to invest. Because nobody now borrow money to invest when you have to pay a 50 or 100% interest rate. So it crowds out the investment money, capital. That's what it does.
Right, and that is the policy we have suffered from today. That is why we are just now building back an investment-friendly economy.
That's why I always say Jamaica is set back 30 years.
Right.
At least we are set back 30 years. We are today here where we should have been 30 years ago.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the reason why Dr. Nigel Clark made the Bank of Jamaica independent of government interference. No party cannot come into government and do whatever they want and give directives to the BOJ. No. The BOJ makes their own decision.
Well, an independent central bank has always been our dream. But only one government was brave enough and had the freedom and the confidence to make it happen. Right?
Look,
Here comes Gerald. Gerald is here again.
look,
Yes,
look.
yes, chap.
Policy came about because the government said tata to the IMF,
Mm-hmm.
and then they start to now use local funding. So they borrow from the local market. They borrow from the local market and at higher interest rate. Remember, so they encourage local people because a high percentage of our debt at the time was local. Because they encourage persons not to do any form of investment, but to simply lend the money to government at high interest rate. So that encouraged persons like some of the financial engineers that we know and the architect of the 1990s would benefit significantly from that policy. Because at the time they had a lot of capital. And all they would do is to just dump that money on government papers and sit back and collect.
Now wait. right? And it was those same government papers that the IMF would have looked at in 2009 and said, no, this cannot continue. And that is what triggered the first debt exchange that we had.
Precisely. I played that thing the other day, Philippine. I don't know. I'd asked Philippine to play it the other day. And if she has some time and can play it today, it would be very good. That
Okay, let me get that phone. But Alton, I can borrow your box, please.
I go for Gerald again.
Yeah, man,
Yes.
he's here. Chaps, this young man, this gentleman is here, a well-spoken gentleman, and I would like for you to have a conversation with this man. Highly respected in the People's National Party.
Yes, man.
Who is that?
This man is a well-spoken comrade. I think you can have a good conversation with this gentleman. Here comes Gerard in the building. Come on, Gerard, we're ready for you.
Gerald, name.
You deal with him today, chaps.
Gerald, come
Yeah,
up.
Gerald, come. Gerald, tell me I gotta do some research for yesterday, you know. Right, Gerald, not coming today.
They tell him, so watch out with chops. They go see chops at the box, don't go.
Yesterday, Gerald says Omar Davis get the half and turn it down. And never Nigel first, then they want Omar first. Right? That was Gerald yesterday, but Gerald not coming today. Don't worry, Gerald. Just when you complete the research, you can come. Don't worry yourself. But guys, as we say, what are the things where we have to convey to people? Right, one of the things where we have to convey to people is the simple fact that no matter what we think, election have consequences. And Jamaica has been suffering the consequences of bad electoral decisions for many decades. Right? The gravest one we made was in 72. We repeated that feat in 1989. And we slowed the recovery in 2012. Luckily, that one, hands were tied. So they were unable to create the damage of the other two periods of the PFB. Right? But election have consequences, and Jamaicans have to start take election seriously. It matters who's running the country.
Why people keep on asking for a report, FinSAC report, when you have the entire transcript that is more than a report that would give you a summary? So you have all the information.
Ignore
You can come up with your
anybody come
own
out to report,
summary.
ignore them, yeah?
You can do a report. It can't even make you one page.
Anybody
Because
come
that
out to
summary
report,
is just,
ignore them.
it's just a summary. The report would be a summary of something, right? As of the whole.
Anybody come out to
archive.
report, ignore
And you
them.
get the whole archive to go and read. You get more than a report. So
It
don't
baffles
come
me.
here asking for a report.
It baffles me also, Philippine, when I heard it so much so that
It's
we kind of start
ridiculous.
ignoring.
Guys,
Very
Okay.
listen to me now and hear me carefully. Do not have no discussion with nobody about no report. Them get that from Hope Road. He say go ask them for report. No, ignore them. No answer nobody.
What protect them for idiot? Who
Yes.
them
So
take
don't make them transfer that idiocy to you. Don't ignore them. We know
So,
where they get them local credit to come do. So no ignore them. But as I was saying, so I believe Jamaicans need to start take elections more serious. Elections matter. It have consequences when we have the wrong persons in power. Right? And at that we need to start dwell upon. We have to start take leadership in our country serious. We joke with it too often, and we are suffering the result of the experiments. Right? And that is why I agree that today, in 2024, We are where we are supposed to be from 1994.
Chuck, I'm going to play the video now.
Come on, go ahead.
Yes.
In 1992, the government of Jamaica signed an agreement with the union. The unions then recognized that the country was in an almost impossible fiscal predicament. Essentially, what it means is that the government was not in a position to pay the workers the increase that they deserved. They didn't have the revenues, the tax revenues. That's what it meant. And being good partners, the unions agreed. They looked at the books of the government and they understood that the government couldn't make money out of here. And they said to the government, we're not going to let you off like that because it is your duty to create the revenues, to run the country in such a way that you can give the wage increases. So what we're going to do is to say to you, the resources that you have on hand, which you have not converted into cash, but which can be used to help with the development of workers. We're going to create an agreement around that for the development of our workers. You have lands that you're not using. You can give scholarships to the children of workers and the workers themselves. You can give concessionary access to the NHD resources. Well, put those in a package and we will sign to them. The initial agreement was that the unions would get, I believe it is 20 acres per parish. You see those people who talk nonsense about the country not going in the right way and that nothing has changed in Jamaica. I urge them, before they open their mouth, in the information age, just go and Google. That was the situation 32 years ago. Today, the government has allocated $200 billion to make the adjustment in public sector wages. You see why it is important that we have these ceremonies? So that we can place things in context, because ignorance is abroad in our land. The truth is,
Speaking of ignorance, good evening, Elder.
Are going to be graduating, they wouldn't know anything about that. That's not the Jamaica that they experience today. The 30-year-old won't know about the parlous state of Jamaica during that period of time. The lands that were given weren't all given at once. They were identified. The government has a land bank, but not every piece of land on paper that appears to be available is actually available. Many of the lands that were allocated under this 1992 agreement were informally occupied already, including land. They were squatted. So the government gave lands or pledged lands that couldn't be used. Not my government. Because I'm very clear about how land should be used. So all those people talking without researching and looking at the facts, let me bring the facts to you. So though they signed the agreement with the unions, it could not be fulfilled. And for those lands that could be fulfilled, they came under competition from other government programs. One comes to mind readily, Operation Pride. So some of the lands that were pledged under this agreement for the unions were absorbed into Operation Pride. So it is not as if the lands were all available for the project to move. Now, let's say there were some lands available and we could start some of the projects. Well, the first project started in 1997. Why? So from 2002 to 1997, what was the problem? The government bureaucracy to simply transfer the land from the government to the unions to demonstrate ownership. Just to move the land off the government books to the unions. To this day, some of the lands pledged have not yet been transferred.
That is it.
That is it. Guys, I'm going to end now, but Chopper is going to start and we're going to go over to Chopper. I am having some technical difficulties. So Chop, start up, and we're coming
So
over
follow,
here.
everybody follow Chopper.
Follow Chop,
Click on
and we're going
Chopper
over Chops right now.
right here
Yeah.
and follow him.
Yo,
Yeah, Mario.
try and fix your TikTok setting now, do.
Yeah, and you know, say me I go do it now. As me I go
Well,
delete
that
this
shut up your
one.
mouth and come after this, Elder.
Me I go delete this one and say me, when me download it, give me a newer one. But we have over Chops now, so Chops are gonna start live and we are gonna join over there, right?
No,
now.
the PM have 30 account. He open one this morning and one in the evening here. So I just say go pop.
Who asked?
And next person, the answer is yes. Me not answer that question already. What the next question?
Well, next question. Him open one this morning and me want to know if it illegal.
Yeah, man.
So,
he got
including in the 28 account, the two his mother included in father.
all in neighbor. Yes, I name the neighbor.
All of them. Yeah.
Yes,
But
in neighbor.
them
One man where you to go school with.
If you go dig up my dead mother and go.
Anyway, guys, we have to go over to Taps Media. So follow us over Taps Media.
And
Nah,
mark dead
I'm trying
father.
to fix the TikTok.
Boy, are they? And she said, mandatory.
Like, how's that even possible?
See, look, now he's using my
The
argument.
same way.
How's that even possible?
So how is it possible Donald
Hold
Trump's
on.
going to change the Constitution?
But
The
again,
same, hold on,
you
I'm gonna
said-
tell you. You ready?
She-
The same way they took our pew pews.
Okay, no. I just want you to show me the proof.
The same
I
way
don't
they
need
came-
any of your mumbo jumbo.
You just
show the
asked how. I'm going to tell you. The same way they took our pew pews during Katrina against the law, they used the National Guard. They kicked in the
Sir,
door.
you're skipping the through the tulips, sir. Show me the
down there in the comments.
Show me the proof.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. 1 second. Everybody in the comments. I know I went away for a while. We lost a few bit of our audience because I wasn't here, I guess. Let's tap the screen. Everybody in the comments, only tap the hell out of that screen. Before I shut down and reset by 7 o'clock, I want to get 200K likes. 200K likes. Everybody tap away. Only everybody in the comments tap away, tap away, tap away. I appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. I think let me see how many hours I've been on so far. We are going 8 hours strong in 19 minutes, y'all. 8 hours strong. We're going to put in 2 more hours and we're going to reset. All right. So everybody in the comments, just keep tapping that screen. Let's get these 200K likes. And I appreciate y'all much. Thank you.
So when
here's
do you
some quotes.
sleep? I have, hold on, I have about 10 of
I go
them.
to sleep about
If you mind, I got it right now.
September 2019.
For 1 second, I'll play it.
Okay. I have about 20 of her quotes, but we can go.
When do you sleep, Answer?
Sometimes I go to sleep about 11 o'clock, and I only need about 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I don't like really sleeping all day. I can't do it.
Yo, Spencer, catch that in the comments.
Hey, can I play it real quick? There we go.
Violence they call California has a version.
It gets louder when talking.
Hey, is it fair to say, since they was calling Joe Biden Sleepy Joe, that we now can call Donald Trump Shitty Donald?
Yes, that's valid.
Shit on himself.